Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm Azizi. First of all, I would like to apologize to everybody, especially to Dr. Aini for not being able to come today for the presentation. Thank you so much to Jamil and Nisa for covering chapter 2 and chapter 3. And now it's my part to present the research articles part. Okay. Basically, there are 4 articles that has been selected with relation to chapter 2 and chapter 3. And before we start, the key concepts or the keywords that we are looking at today is for chapter 2, we are looking at the concept of supply and demand. And also, we talk about anchor or anchoring price. For chapter 3, we look at the concept of free and zero cost. Why zero or free item made us make irrational decision. Okay, the title of the first article is Analysis of Supply and Demand to Enhance Educational Tourism Experience in the Smart Park of Yogyakarta, Indonesia. Dated 2017. The article or the research was written by Ani Wijayanti, Giananton Diamanik, Chafit Fandeli, and also Sudarmaji. Okay, before we look at the findings, let's take a look at the abstract just to find or get to know the brief overview, brief summary of the study, right? The study was conducted at the Smart Park, or in Indonesia, it is well known as Taman Pintar. This park is basically a major educational tourism destination in Yogyakarta, which offers a variety of tourism attractions that is appealing to the tourists. Okay, the main purpose for visitors to come here is to get the educational tourism experience. A subjective experience raises a specific challenge for the smart park towards the status of competitive destination. Basically, the researchers are finding out how to make the park more competitive so that more visitors from outside Indonesia will come and visit the park. The main purpose of this study is to analyze the aspects of educational tourism experience that are affected by tourism demand and supply. Okay, what are the demands to be met, and also are they able to supply in order to cater to the demand? Okay, the data were collected using survey technique to 150 respondents, and it was analyzed using path analysis. Okay, the results of the analysis shows that tourism demand and supply contributed to the variation of tourism activities by 45.1%, while the remaining was explained by other variables such as the budget, local budget, ticket sale, and etc. Okay. Based on the result just now, it shows that there is still a gap between tourism demand and supply, so that the environment of tourism experience has not been created maximally. So there are still things that they need to fill. All right. So here are some of the findings that we can find in the research. Okay. So the last point here, the management able to minimize the gap between demand and supply. How? By doing market research. This market research is conducted through cooperation with educational institutions to determine the purpose of study tour that is part of the curriculum. That is one of the ways that they do in order to fill in the gap just now. Okay, that is it for article number 1. Now moving on to article number 2, the title is Anchoring Effects on Consumers' Willingness to Pay and Willingness to Accept okay, dated 2003, and this article was by Itamar Simonson and also Amy Drolet. Okay, the abstract of this article. Basically, this research or article is about purchasing products. Okay, in terms of consumers, we as consumers, we often need to decide on the highest price we are willing to pay, which is referred to WTP. And for the sellers, or when we sell the products, we are dealing with the lowest price we are willing to accept, that is WTA. Okay, so here in this research, the researchers, they contrast the determinants of WTP and also WTA judgments and investigate their susceptibility to influence by arbitrary anchors that are unrelated to the product value. Okay, so here we are looking at um, the keyword arbitrary coherence just now, which has been explained earlier on in chapter 2. Besides that, in this article as well, the researchers, they discuss the implications of these findings, the finding just now about WTP and WTA, with respect to their understanding of the determinants of consumers' willingness to pay and willingness to accept value-based pricing and the anchoring effect. Like we understand just now, anchoring effect is the price that we put on to something. For example, the black pearl just now from Tahiti. From the findings of this study, the first one, the summary, the present research highlights the susceptibility of consumers' price judgments to irrelevant influences. These findings suggest that, number one, instead of relying on a more passive approach of estimating the value of a product to target consumers and setting the price accordingly, marketers can adopt a more active role based on analysis of the factor that influence consumers price judgments. Okay, instead of just putting it side by side and having an anchor pricing, they should do more analysis to research on, or to find out what are the factors that could influence consumers pricing judgment. Okay. The second finding suggests that it is also important to recognize the degree or how much are we willing to pay and willing to accept. Judgments are dependent on seemingly irrelevant anchors. Okay, what someone else paid for a different product that are present in the consumer environment. Okay, here they are suggesting that we should change the environment, not just base our WTP and WTA on what others think. Okay, if they think that something is worth 10,000 ringgit, so why? And we must not only base our judgment just because of their opinion. Okay, so the third article that we have chosen is this one, is basically for chapter 3. So here we are going to look at the price of free, privacy leakage in personalized mobile in-app ads, dated 2016. Okay, the article was written by Wei Meng, Rending, Simon, Stephen, and also Wang Li. All right. The abstract, a little bit about the article. Basically, what the researchers are looking at in this article is about how much information are we willing to give up just to use the app for free. For example, all the applications that we have in our smartphones or in our computers, like Facebook, Instagram. If you notice, there are many advertisements that often occurs when we browse through our newsfeed, okay, or our timeline. So um, from this article, we come to realize that basically, when we agree to the terms and conditions for using the applications, we are also giving up our personal information to the mobile app developer. Okay, so here in this article, the researchers, they are looking at to what extent did our personal information is being used or being given to the developer, and what are the effects when we agree to the conditions, and also um, so sorry. Basically, what we are looking at here is to what extent and what are the implications uh, with regards to our personal information. For example, our demographic, gender can affect our life, and also the kind of advertisements that will appear in our timeline when we use the applications. Okay, basically the findings they illustrate that in-app advertising can leak potentially sensitive user information to any app that hosts personalized ads, and ad networks current protection mechanism are not sufficient for safeguarding user sensitive personal information. Okay, they found out that actually our information is not safe, and it can be given to just anybody, the third party. We call them third party. All right, so here are some of the findings that I've listed, number 1 until number 4. The first one, mobile ads are delivered by major ad network, for example Google and Google AdMob, are highly personalized based on both users' demographic and also interest profile, our preferences. Okay. Number 2, more than 73% of ad impression for users were found to be personalized based on users' demographics. Again, number 3, personalized in-app advertising can leak potentially sensitive personal information to any app that hosts ads, meaning just any third-party application can have access to our demographic information and personal information. Okay. Number 4, this finding illustrate that more protection is needed to defend against privacy leakage in personalized mobile app advertisements. So that is the price of free that we are paying for using free applications. All right. Okay. Okay, last but not least, the fourth article, basically, first, the title is The Hidden Cost of Free Goods, Implications for Antitrust Enforcement. Basically, this article, the main idea is the same as our third article just now, how free goods or free applications that we use will affect our personal information, okay, when it is given to just anybody on the internet. All right, so the abstract for this article, there is a growing number of goods and services provided. For example, we have the Google search engine, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and etc. So here, this phenomenon is driven by changes in modes of the production, distribution and dissemination of information that substantially reduce incremental costs. Okay, everything is offered online. There's no need to buy. We just use them for free. So, what is the cost, or uh, how much is the price? What is the price for this all the free things that we get online? So the findings from this study, okay,